Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Chris. Did you know that some animals can live to be several hundred years old? And that one is actually suspected to be able to live forever? Here are 8 of the planet's longest living creatures. Number 8. Greenland shark. You know, the general consensus within the scientific community is that the Greenland shark can live for several hundred years, making it the longest living vertebrate on the planet. There is some debate about how many centuries it could live, however. Scientists measure the age of the Greenland sharks by analyzing their eye tissue, which is made up of proteins that build up over time. Using radiocarbon dating, they've determined that it's not unusual for one to have been alive even during the American Revolution, or perhaps even before then. According to one study, which was published in the August 2016 edition of the journal Science, eye tissue analysis of 28 female Greenland sharks placed their age anywhere between 272 and 512 years old. The Greenland shark is massive, measuring up to 24 feet long and weighing up to 2,645 pounds. And it dwells near the bottom of the North Atlantic and Arctic Oceans. Those are some of the coldest waters on Earth, you know. They're so big, but they swim incredibly slowly, at a rate of just 1 foot per second. It's a good thing for scientists that Greenland sharks live for so long. Due to their tendency to dwell along the ocean floor, they're somewhat difficult to observe in their natural habitat, and there's still a lot we can learn about their biology. Number 7. Red sea urchin. The red sea urchin is known for being almost immortal. In 2003, a U.S. research team from Oregon and California found that the small, spiny creature can last for more than 200 years, with few signs of age-related disease, except for maybe their reading glasses. The animal uses its spine to deter predators and grows to more than 15 centimeters across. Once considered the scourge of the sea, red sea urchins ate plants in kelp forests, and people once believed they were at least partially responsible for the decline of the marine ecosystem, and because of that, people tried to poison them. During the 1970s, however, they became valuable as the result of being sold by the US to Japan, where their sex organs were considered a delicacy, and indeed brought high prices. At one point during the 1990s, they were one of the most valuable marine resources in California. Contemporary studies prove that the red sea urchins grow more slowly and live much longer than the previously assumed 7 to 15 years. According to Dr. Thomas Ebert of Oregon State University, some of the world's largest and oldest red sea urchins are actually located between Vancouver Island and the mainland, in the waters off British Columbia. They measured up to 19 centimeters in length and are believed to be at least 200 years old. Red sea urchins show very few signs of age. Incredibly, old sea urchins are perfectly capable of breeding. Those that die young typically succumb to specific diseases, are harvested by fishermen, or attacks by predators. Number 6. Hydra. If you were impressed by the several hundred-year lifespan of the first 2 creatures, you're going to be blown away by how long scientists believe the Hydra can live. Hydra are spindly freshwater polyps that, according to some research, may actually be able to live forever. One study published in December 2015 in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, they reported that they don't show any signs of deteriorating with age, unlike most other multicellular species. Now, biologist Daniel Martinez of Pomona College initially participated in the study to prove that Hydra can't escape the inevitable effects of aging. However, he was admittedly proven wrong by his own data. Hydra are invertebrates that grow to be less than a half-inch long and look like tiny tubes with tentacles protruding from one end. And most of their body cells are stem cells, which are capable of continuous division and differentiation into any type of cell in the body. So that means Hydra can constantly renew their bodies with fresh cells. In 1998, a study by Martinez and his colleagues showed that the Hydra show no signs of aging after reaching maturity at around 4 years old. They literally were unable to determine if the fertility of Hydra declines with age, meaning that theoretically, they may be immortal. A more recent study of 2,256 individual Hydra showed that for 80% of them, fertility remained consistent over time, and their death rate clocked in at 1 per 167 annually. Now, Martinez hopes that studying Hydra will help scientists understand the dynamics behind the aging of other organisms, including the main mystery: why do animals age in the first place? And now for an animal that you just might have swimming in your backyard. But first, if you're new here, hi, welcome! And be sure to subscribe for more videos. Number 5. koi fish. Now, on average, koi live anywhere from 25 to 30 years. And according to some reports, however, they can live for much longer than that, perhaps 200 years or more. Hanako, a famous scarlet koi from Japan that died in 1977, well, it lived to be 226 years old. Hanako was born in 1751, which means that she was 25 years older than the United States of America. Her last owner was a man named Dr. Komi Kashihara, who claimed to have inherited the fish from his maternal grandmother, who had inherited the fish from olden times. Dr. Kashihara referred to Hanako as his dearest friend. Initially, it's easy to dismiss the man's story as mythical or even exaggerated. After all, if his claims about Hanako's age were true, that would mean she outlived her life expectancy about 8 times over. However, Hanako's age was actually measured scientifically by analyzing the growth rings on her scales, meaning that an age of 226 is at least a roughly accurate measurement. So what caused Hanako to live so long? Now, one of the factors is the winter hibernation that most koi in Japan go through annually, which they're often prevented from undergoing in Western countries. Hibernation and being raised in cold water is thought to greatly increase a koi's lifespan. I wonder if that would work for me. While this was most likely a factor in Hanako's longevity, nobody actually knows for sure how or why she lived to the ripe old age of 226. Perhaps those crystal clear waters of Japan's mountains or the dedicated TLC from her owners were also part of the equation. Number 4. Galapagos giant tortoise. The Galapagos giant tortoise can live to be well over 100 years old, with the oldest on record having lived to an age of 152. In addition to being one of the world's longest living species, the Galapagos giant tortoise is the largest tortoise species, reaching up to 5 feet in length and weighing up to 550 pounds. Charles Darwin visited the famous island in 1885, and that means it's narrowly possible that a giant tortoise that was just a baby at the time could actually still be alive today. However, the species is threatened, with only 10 types of giant tortoise existing on the island, compared to what was an estimated 15 during Darwin's visit. More than 100,000 tortoises are estimated to have been killed off during the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries, when they were hunted as food by pirates, whalers, and merchantmen. And non-native species including feral pigs, dogs, cats, and even cattle, just to name a few, are a continuing threat to the giant tortoise's food supply. Number 3. Arctica islandica. Known more commonly as the ocean quahog, this Icelandic species of edible clam is native to icy waters of the North Atlantic, and it carries a typical life expectancy of 405 to 410 years. The oldest one discovered so far, nicknamed Ming, was estimated to be around 507 years old. Ming was first discovered in 2006. In 2013, a team of researchers from Bangor University officially announced it as the oldest animal in the world. The bivalve mollusk was most likely born around 1499 and was named after the Chinese Ming Dynasty, which was in power when it was alive. Researchers accidentally killed Ming when they opened its shell to find out how old it was. Geez, talk about a whoops. At first, they estimated Ming's age at 405 years, around the maximum life expectancy. However, according to Bangor University ocean scientist Paul Butler, Ming is 507, and he's certain they aren't making a mistake this time. Even though, dude, that is over 100 years difference, man, are you sure? Ming's age was calculated by examining its growth rings, much like the age of a tree is determined. Butler pointed out that among the thousands of ocean quahogs that are captured by commercial fishermen each year, it's possible or even likely that some have been as old or even older than Ming. Number 2. Immortal jellyfish. Found in the Mediterranean Sea and the waters around Japan, the immortal jellyfish is a species of small jellyfish that, well, they're biologically immortal, guys. And so what does that mean? Well, they're capable of reverting back to a sexually immature stage after having reached sexual maturity. It's almost as if instead of dying, they somehow just go back in time and become young again. Man, wouldn't that be nice? Now, unlike the Hydra that we talked about earlier, the immortal jellyfish is the only species that scientists have officially classified as being able to live forever. Keep in mind, these eternal creatures are teeny tiny, reaching only 4.5 millimeters in length as adults. And when they decide to retreat back to childhood, well, they return to their juvenile polyp state and they become even smaller. And this doesn't just happen once. They're capable of doing it over and over and over and over and, well, you get the idea. In fact, they only die if their jelly becomes diseased or they're eaten by another animal. Still, scientists have a lot to learn about the immortal jellyfish, as their infinite capabilities have only been observed in laboratories, not their natural environments. Number 1. Sponges. Now let's take a look at the oldest known animal life. In trying to determine when animal life as we know it first emerged on Earth, scientists looked at preserved chemicals in their bodies that were found in ancient rocks. These ancient chemical traces are called biomarkers and reveal that sometime between 635 million and 650 million years ago, sponges were already around, making them the oldest known form of animal life. Known as demosponges, that same lineage still exists today. Their relatives left behind the same chemical found in modern-day sponges, a steroid compound that researchers believe only these sponges are capable of producing. The findings of this recent study have been challenged, or at least questioned, however. Skeptics such as Jonathan Antcliffe, a senior researcher with the University of Oxford's Zoology Department, points out that not enough is known about biochemical production in living and extinct organisms to make a precise determination about that data. In other words, other extinct species besides sponges may have produced the chemical that has been discovered and connected to modern-day lineage. Gordon Love, a professor at the University of California, Riverside, told Live Science that ancient sponges most likely shared a habitat with other creatures, a fact that has prompted scientists to continue with their research without coming to any definite conclusions just yet. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out our other videos, because we have those, and then remember to subscribe before you leave, because we'll be making more. I'll see you next time.